It's the Inquisitor, and today I'm going to be teaching you 5 tips on how to play Janet like a pro. So, we're going to start in Gem Grab. Tip number 1, using your attack. Janet has a very unusual attack. Unlike most brawlers, when you aim her, the attack becomes more and more narrow and longer, meaning that you always have to hold the aim if you want to make it go far. At close range, at the beginning of your attack, it will be widespread, but as you aim it, it gets honed and will become narrower. Meaning, unlike most brawlers, you cannot auto-aim. So, an important tip you need to know is never auto-aim with Janet unless you're right next to the brawler. Because if you do, all you get is really short attacks like that. Her attack is relatively weak damage, but it gets ability to pierce through enemies, making it so much more better to aim it than other attacks. So now you can pierce through enemies, meaning you can hit multiple enemies. So be smart about your attack and try to hit as many enemies as you can with it. The attack has a relatively good range. It has a long range. It's not extremely long, but it's good. The hardest part about the attack is actually holding it down. Now, currently I'm using a star power that actually speeds up how fast the attack works, but originally the attack moves pretty slowly, which is problematic, because I won't be able to, it's slow, which is problematic because I cannot get my attack fast enough if I want to hit continuously an enemy from far away. Now, with this Ashe, I don't think we're gonna win this game. Yeah, they got a good turnover. But her attack is really tricky, but if you can pull it off, her attack can be really strong. The piercing abilities can be really powerful, and while she doesn't do the most damage, she does quite a bit of good damage.
It's gonna be a trip.
The second game, we're gonna take in Heist, and this one is about her most important feature. Her super. Tip 2, timing your super. Janet has a very different super. It has a new mechanic never seen before in this game, and that's flying. While flying, no enemy can hit her, making her practically invulnerable. But it's really hard to control. As you see that pierce attack.
You're low.
When she does her super, you can lift off a short distance, as you see in this aim, and you can do it through walls. The moment you do super, you become flying over, dropping bombs. Now, timing your super is very tricky because her super lasts 7 seconds, which is pretty good, but you have to time it perfectly. Always time it right when you're in danger, because then for 7 seconds you're immune. Be careful about your super because you cannot reload or heal your health while in the air. But the best time to use your super is right when enemies attack, like Ashe in this case, or other tanks. Now, here's a perfect time to use a super because I'm taking a lot of damage, and the only way to get rid of that damage or relieve it is to use super. Then you move far place else where you can do some work, preferably taking out some of the weaker health brawlers. Another problem with super, like in Brawl Ball, is that she won't be able to touch the ball or interact with any object while she's in her super. Don't really use the super to advance onto enemy because, unlike a lot of brawlers, she does not have great damage. She doesn't do a lot of damage. She does a good amount of damage, but not a lot, which is why unless you're going with someone you know you can kill in 3 shots, don't do that. Tip 3. Controlling your super.
It's gonna be a trip.
So, while timing the super is important, it's also important to be able to control it. So, first you need charge up. The super is a 6 shot, which is actually pretty good since you can pierce. So, always try to pierce enemies, they'll help you load the super much faster than you might expect. Because she can get almost double how much she can. Now, she has longer range than you might expect. Her attack can reach farther than you think. So don't be scared to hit and to waste your shot, because you'll probably be able to get it back pretty fast. Ronnie's really tough. Okay, so once I get my super good, it's all about controlling your super. Now in Heist, controlling your super means trying to get your super to drop bombs onto the safe. Now her bombs are very hard to control, mainly because they spawn, she drops them in a circle around her, meaning they won't go directly at your feet, which is why her super is really hard to aim, meaning you can't just hover over enemy. Also, what's bad about the super is that you'll always move. If you let go of the move joystick, it'll continue moving forward, which is why it's even harder to aim the super. In addition, her turn radius is really bad, meaning it'll take a lot more time to make a turn or rotation than with any other brawler. So I'm not touching the joystick and I'm moving. Now try to drop the bombs onto the safe and use it to get to safe places. You'll drop only 7 bombs, even though on the stats it'll say 8. So you have to use those bombs. The bombs do mediocre damage, pretty good damage, but mainly the bombs help keep them from healing up, which is really good. You can sometimes use the super to finish off an enemy, but I like using the super in Heist to just get some damage in and move out. The damage is not extremely strong, but you can pull off a lot of good damage. Got the victory.
Watch the birdie.
Tip 4. Janet's kit. Tip 4. Janet's kit. Choosing your kit. Janet has a pretty interesting kit, and by kit I mean the combination of gadgets, star powers, and gears. She has 2 gadgets. Drop the Bass, which she drops a literal speaker that does 100 damage in the area around it and loses health over time. And she has another gadget that allows her to, whatever her next shot will push her back depending on how long you aim it. Now, the gadget you want to pick almost always will be Drop the Bass, the speaker one that I'm playing right now. Mainly because while the speaker doesn't do damage, it has such a big area that denies them healing up. It denies them to heal up, which can be really powerful. Not to mention, this is a gadget you can drop while you're in the air with the super, kind of unfair. Now you want to keep this gadget safe because while it doesn't do much damage and won't really kill off anyone, it stops them from healing up, which is really good when you want to corner in a weak thing. The other gadget can be really strong in modes without a lot of cover, which is what this gadget really excels in. The other gadget's amazing with jumping over walls and getting up close to enemies, but I don't think it's as good because it's pretty situational and you have to waste a shot trying to jump away. Plus, sometimes in haste you won't jump as far, you're just spamming the shot and you won't jump. Star power wise, she has 2 superpowers, stage IQ and the honed voice star power, I forgot the name. I always use the second one because it speeds up how fast you attack. The first one's not as good because all it does is scan bushes while you're in the air. For gears, I suggest using damage gear because she needs that damage to finish off weaklings. Speed gear is good and shield gear is really strong.
I'm on another level. It's gonna be a trip.
Tip 5. What modes to play? Janet is a pretty versatile brawler and she works really well as a mid.
Brace for impact.
Because of this, I think she's really good in gem grab because of how much area she can deny. She's also good in hot zone with her gadget and any other mode that requires you to control. I don't suggest playing her that much in Brawl Ball, mainly because in her air she can't do much with the ball and she's really more supportive than offensive, unlike the new brawler Bonnie. So I just use a new gadget that allows me to jump, my super, and I have my new star power which allows me to see all bushes and all in the air. The new star power is only good in maps with a lot of bushes, and so she's really good in gem grab, which is why I'm playing her here. She's really good in knockout because she can use her flying to get out of tight situations and actually wait out the timer. Also, she's good in bounty sometimes because her super allows her to stay clear of any danger.
You clearly aren't a fan.
But I think her best mode is probably gem grab because of how much area she can deny. But she's really dependent on having good teammates, because the team, she can't do a lot of damage. She can't do a lot. She's really good at denying enemies, and it's really good for your teammates to pick up the kills. So while she's a pretty hard brawler to push with randoms, she can be really strong. Now what she's amazing in Brawl Ball especially is grabbing the gems and running with it with a super, because they can't kill you while you're in the air. This allows you to get away, and it's really cheesy because if you do it on the last 7 seconds, basically they can't do anything while they countdown. Start. So those are the modes I suggest playing. So all in all, I think Janet's a pretty good brawler. She's a balanced brawler, slightly on the good side, but I don't think she's overpowered. I think she's just a good brawler. So those were 5 tips that helps you become a pro at Janet. This is the Inquisitor signing off.